Well, the weather sure has taken a turn since I shot that video back in early fall. It's definitely winter time in Alberta here now, but not nearly as cold as it was a few days ago. I'm out at the ranch. Very good buddy of mine, just lives a little bit south of me. He's got a gorgeous spread out here. He's also got just an incredible collection of old trucks, including the very rare Peterbilt, 1980 Peterbilt 353 setback front axle. This truck spent pretty much its whole life in northern Alberta moving rigs, and it is just a gem. I'm going to film some more footage out here of the rest of his truck collection, and we'll take a look at the this is a work in business. So he's got three really badass Kenworths in the shop there. That's his working trucks for the highway. But yeah, not too bad of a day today, just a little bit windy. And let's take a look at what we got on the agenda for this video. Welcome back, everyone. Krafty Carl here. A few videos back, I took the viewers through my kit collection as an introduction video. I've got almost 240 kits. Some are factory sealed, some are open with in the planning phases for how I'm going to build them out. And I want to go through each and every kit over the series of videos coming up here. And I'm going to start with shelf number 1 today. We'll start at the bottom. We're going to take a look at each kit, and it's going to be a good time. All right, so this is the kits from the bottom shelf, and let's start having a look at what we got here. I'm just going to get the camera set up over here so I can make sure everybody can see what's going on here. So we'll start with the big girl here. This one's factory sealed. It's about 5 years old now. Was released back, re-released back in 2020. And I've always wanted to build it again. I built one when I was a kid. When I was younger, I found it was a pretty challenging kit. And back in those days, it would have said Earle instead of AMT. And the box art looks pretty close to what it used to be. But this is a really nice kit. And I've seen a couple of them built. It's a pretty big kit. And they kept up with the with all the stuff, the box art on the sides and whatnot, like they used to do when this kit was first released, like I said, from Earle. And then, of course, with all of round 2 models, for a long time now, they've been putting all the part trees on the back and stuff, which is, it's kind of nice because when you're in the hobby store and you're kind of curious to see roughly what's inside there, it gives you a good idea, obviously. And yeah, I like what round 2 is doing with that stuff there. So, but yeah, eventually this will get built, and there we have it. International Pay Hauler 350 construction truck. Next up is the triaxle or tridem end dump gravel truck, gravel trailer. We call them an end dump up here in Canada. It's actually got the MPC logo on the bottom there, and that's back in the day when this kit was first released. They did a lot of the Mack DM series trucks. I don't think they did any R series, but I know they did the DM. And yeah, this looks really a lot like, pretty much exactly like the original box art That's another thing I like that Round 2's been doing is for years now is they've been doing the original box art. So really like this trailer. It is open. We're gonna have a quick look inside. And what I've done with this one is I've taken out some of the parts, and I had plans to use this with my Autocars, and I'm gonna turn it into, see, I've already gotten ready here. I've got the Uniroyal wheels, or tires I should say, pardon me. I've got the Uniroyal tires, and I've also got the chrome Alcoas. Now this stuff is from Freightliner kit, which I'm not obviously going to use those on the Freightliner. And like I said, I'm going to turn this just into a tandem axle gravel truck, and I'm going to take one of my Autocars, my dump trucks, I'm going to turn it into a tractor, and I'm going to have it so I've got one Autocar that's a dump truck, and the other one's just going to be pulling the end dump here. So anyway, this is a really good kit, and this one is from back in 2018 is when this reissue came out. Next up, we got the International Payar 5000 dump truck. Again, with the original box art, I love this. I could look at it, all these kits and stuff with the old art all day. I think that's really great. And when they first released these, would have been from Earle as well. And they also had a logging truck. So they had the Payar 5000 dump truck. They had the Payar 5000 log truck, and then they had, I think it was like kind of a dark red tractor, and it was just a Payar 5000 tractor. So this is a reissue as well. This is not too old here. Another thing I like that Round 2 does is when you go to the bottom corner here, they put the dates on here. So I don't know if this is an actual production date, but it's 12/28/2022, and I recall buying this not too long ago. And the reason I bought it is because, yes, of course, eventually I want to build it, but I haven't done anything with it. And I've got another Payar 5000, and what I want to do is I'm using that dump box off the other Payar 5000 I bought for one of my Kenworth projects. So I actually want to build out this dump truck, not box stock, but just as the actual Payar 5000 dump truck. So it's a nice kit, I think. Comes with a nice set of decals here. These are updated a lot from what would have came in the original kit back in the 70s. But yeah, the Payar 5000, and these are really, really cool trucks, and I think they did a really good job of this kit when they released it. So, okay, this is my other International Payar dump truck, and you can see, yeah, that box art's completely different. Now, this kit I bought off eBay. It was relatively inexpensive, and it was in Canada, so I didn't have to worry about doing the whole currency exchange and everything like that. But Racing Champions Earle. So these guys made a run of kits, this one and a bunch of other ones and stuff. The date on this one's 2002, so she's getting up there in years now. But when I saw it on eBay, I wanted to have it because if anybody's familiar with my cement mixer, Kenworth, the Challenge mixer there, I trying to build a theme for that John R. Fuel fictitious trucking company. That's the decals you get in those transit mixer kits. So I wanted to have a cement truck, I wanted to have a dump truck, and I want to have a tractor trailer with the dozer on it. So Eventually, when we get around to building all this stuff, that's going to be great. But you can see it says AMT Earle. Back in the day, you know, what had the old box art, and then it would just said Earle on the box. So, but inside here, there's not really. Let's get the camera sorted out here a bit. So, I think those instructions are pretty cool. It's got some really nice art work on there, the pictures and whatnot. This came with, now back in the day, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but this would have been the original decal sheet you got with an Earle kit. And it would have came with that hood stripe or billboard stripe, and the flame decals, and then the Delhi trucking, stone, gravel, and sand. So when I first bought this kit off eBay, I said to myself, okay, I'm going to use that dump box. I like it. It's the taller one. Some of the other dump trucks in there, I think the boxes are just a little bit shorter. You know, the cab guard just barely gets over the cab type of thing. So this particular box, though, is going to my other Kenworth project, like I was saying there, with the John R. Fuel themed trucking company. So inside here, we don't have much left other than the truck itself. And what I want to do is I want to turn this into some kind of an oil field rig, because these Paystars, they just look buff, in my opinion. They're a pretty tough looking truck. Now, not a lot of, or there's some people out there, I should say, who weren't international fans, I guess. You know, so be it. But I think some of these heavy duty internationals were built pretty tough. And I've never driven a Paystar. I drove a bunch of S-Series internationals in my trucking career, and some other ones, but not the Paystar 5000. So the other thing I like about this is the float tire. So you get a really decent float tire, in my opinion, in these kits. And same with the re-released Paystar, the new one I just showed. But these float tires are pretty nice. And speaking of float tires, we've got some wheels coming up that are a scale either 13-inch or 14-inch width, and they're obviously for float tires as well. And those are coming up to 3D Concepts Limited. And we are also still in the works of getting our tires going. It's just tires it's a whole new ball game. And we're not just going to make like a resin or a filament tire or anything like that. We're going to make an actual true silicone rubber tire. So, and we've been working on that project for a while. Eventually, it will come to fruition, and we hope to get them out to the model community and make a lot of people happy with those. So. Here's the Freightliner FLC heavy dumper truck, as Italeri or Italeri, however you pronounce it, the Italian people. It's been around for a long time. This is a reissue from just last year, I think, or 2023. And when I saw it coming out, I was just like, okay, I got to have one, because I actually built this truck back in the 80s, and I built it exactly like the box art. I had the red cab and hood. I had the silver box or gray box. Back in those days, I liked their wheels and tires better. And this kit, actually, I distinctly remember it having two-piece tires, and they had more of an aggressive tread pattern on them, so they actually looked like drives. For the rear anyway, you got the same two halves for the front tires, but still. And then instead of the rim slipping into the tire, the tires actually sandwiched the rim. And same if you got their Michelins, their rubber Michelins there, which are pretty common with most of the other Italy kits. You just push the wheel inside, and there was a recessed part by the lip, and the tire would just sandwich that. I just think they looked a lot better. So when they had the first release, Western Stars, Freightliner FLC, the dump truck here, the tractor, yeah, they were really good kits. So when this one came out, still factory sealed, and I picked one up off the shelf. And let's take a look here. I just wanted to show you guys. Okay, so yeah, obviously I'm up in Canada here, but look at this. Look at this, $99.99, 100 Canadian dollars, which for my American friends, probably, I want to say around 60, 65 bucks. I'm not exactly sure. Sometimes I go on Model Roundup and see what the prices are on there, and then I get an idea of what it's going to be when those kits eventually make their way up to Canada here. So, which is usually Model Roundup for me, actually. It's a pretty good website, and I usually get a good idea of what's coming by looking at the coming soon page, and I'll get an idea of how much I'm going to have to get a second mortgage to pick up some of these kits now. Like $100 for a truck model kit. It's just, it's getting a little bit outrageous there. But anyway, it's factory sealed, and it's going to stay that way for a while. Okay, so I got two of these AMT Autocar DC 9964Bs. This is in, I believe this was the first box art, the original box art. I know there's been a couple of renditions of it since then, even when some of these kits were released by Matchbox, I think it was. Maybe the Autocar didn't come that way, but I know that Stevens International and the RC2 or whatever, maybe, I don't know. This wasn't out for a while. These are both open because I've been planning and looking at these as to what I want to do, and I'm just going to try and get the date on here. Okay, so 2020, so not too long ago, but again, the box art and whatnot looks really good on these kits. Both these kits are open. I've taken a good look inside and changed out some parts and did some planning. This is going to be this is another set of Freightliner 10-hole Alcoas. Those fit the bigger Uniroyal tires, and that's what's inside here. And like I said, one of these, you also get this nice float tire. Now this, I would say, Firestone float tire, it's almost, I would say it's just even a little bit nicer than the ones that come in the Paystar, because they don't have the insert in the back. They have to make it basically a two-piece tire. So, but these float tires, I think they're a nice size. They look good. I remember building this kit as a kid quite a few times. And like I said, one of these is going to be an actual dump truck, and the other one's going to be a tractor that pulls the end dump. So, with that being said, that's a project for down the road, utilizing the triaxle dump trailer there. So, and you can see this one's got set up for the other Alcoas and whatnot, because I don't want to have the spoke wheels on here. I actually robbed one of these kits of its spoke wheels, nice spoke wheels, but I'm using those for another project. So that's kind of how it goes with me. I get these kits and I start thinking in my head and planning and stuff, and then I want to sort them out and get them ready, so when I actually do get down to business of building them, most of the parts are going to be ready for the vision that I have for them. So And keep in mind too, when I talk about the nice wheels and stuff like that, a lot of these plans were set up before 3D Concepts was even a thing. So with the just excellent parts that we're putting out there for the scale model market, a lot of those parts are going to get incorporated into my future model builds, which I'm super excited about. But it's also going to change some of the details and stuff of the model kit and how it's going to look with the finished project. So, but there you go, 2 Autocar dump trucks. So I think every truck model enthusiast has to have the D8 bulldozer. I've seen this thing built so many different ways. I've seen people scratch build a ROP for them, rollover protection. I've seen them weathered. I've seen them clean. I've seen all kinds of stuff. And again, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe at one point these actually were licensed with Caterpillar, and you got a Caterpillar decal for the grill. And then I think you got a D8H decal for where this Universal Construction one is. So again, it's a round 2 re-release. Let's take a look at the date on here. I think this one's a little bit older. Yeah, so 2019. Comes with the different grill decals, and then of course, you know, all the same parts it's came with for probably close to 50 years now. So I know, I'm not going to mention any names, but I know that there are some aftermarket decal places out there, and they call them the yellow decals or construction decals or whatever. But you can actually get some Caterpillar stuff for these, and I've got some stuff for them, and I think that's super cool. So anyway, the Dozer, no plans really other than to build it at some point. It's a great kit. I think I've built 2 of them when I was younger, like in my teens, and with the ripper and everything, and just a lot of fun, you know. And you put it on the obligatory Lowboy, the triaxle Lowboy that AMT came out with, and you know, it's be nice if that Lowboy was an actual 10 feet wide in scale. Whereas I think it's just, well, I'm certain that it's just 8'6" in scale, and the Dozer is a little bit oversized for it, but especially with the blade on there. But anyways, the AMT Construction Bulldozer. This is the last kit from the bottom shelf, and like I said, I grouped all my construction equipment together, most of it anyways. And then of course the Autocar projects that I have, really looking forward to those at some point. But anyways, when these came out, basically the Dozer and the Lowboy combined, I remember seeing this when I was a kid, and I just stare at it for hours in the hobby store. Like I couldn't afford to buy it, but I mean, it was just like, oh man, it looks so great. I think one of the biggest attractions to all this stuff, other than the fact that I've loved trucks as long as I can remember, is the box art. The box art looks so good. And, you know, round 2, again, kudos to you guys for bringing the old box art back to life. It just looks fantastic. Like it's just a really nice looking cover picture on there. This one actually, you know, like I said, it includes the Dozer and the Lowboy. I haven't opened this one yet. I got no plans to open it yet. I had a couple of these and I sold them. They weren't around for very long. They still might be available out there, but this was released back in 2020. So again, not too long ago, but still, I think I bought 3, and then I was just like, okay, I flew a little bit too close to the sun, and I only really need 1. Pretty sure I only have 1. Yeah. And like I said, I'm going to use it for my John R. Fuel themed Kenworth construction company there. So that is the contents of the bottom shelf. So let's move up a shelf, and this will be all trucks, and this is going to be nice. Okay, next shelf, mostly Italy tractors, and the ones there from AMT, I'm not sure when I say this, but I believe that round 2 got some of the molds from Italy. I don't know. These Italy released all these kits at one point, and then next thing you know, a few years back there, AMT started putting them out, and it's pretty much the same kit. So if somebody again wants to correct me in the comments, feel free, because like sometimes my information's not 100% accurate, but I have a pretty good idea that they would have had to get those molds from maybe Revell, even, because at one point Revell was putting out a bunch of these kits, all in 1/24 scale, which I like. It's just a little bit bigger. But these 9 tractors here are some of my favorite tractors. And let's set up the camera again so everybody can see, and we'll start to go through them here. Okay, first up, as Italy would call it, the Australian truck. For all of us truck savvy people out there, we can see clearly that is the Western Star, a 4964 tractor. And this one's done up in, I would say, an Australian theme. We've got the high intake pipes for the air cleaners to avoid, to try and get less and less of that red dust they have down there sucked into the motor. And it's also got the provision for right-hand drive, which is really cool. Comes with the big bull bar there, or as they would say down under, the rhubarb, and the extra fuel tanks and whatnot, the spoke wheels. It's a really nice kit, and there's all the parts are in there. Used to be, actually, I shouldn't speak before I open the box here, because this one's open. But you could have just built a regular Western Star, not the Australian version. So anyway, this is a nice kit. Those decals have been around for a while now. And let me just look for a date on this one. Going back to 2011. So a little bit older kit now. It's open, so I'm just going to take the box lid off here, and I'll get the camera a little bit better there. I haven't really done anything with this. I just kind of looked at all the parts and whatnot. There's the regular parts that would come with just a regular American style tractor. It's got the regular style air cleaners, and the standard fuel tanks and whatnot. That visor there, I believe that most of Italy's kits, minus the Peterbilts, they were all modeled off the Freightliner frame, and that visor would be more of a Freightliner visor too. I think there's another just non-chrome plated plastic or visor in there that you would use on this truck, because I built a yellow one. I showcased it probably a couple of years ago now, and it definitely doesn't wear this visor with the big V in it. So, but it's got a lot of chrome parts. there's the Australian version of the parts. If you want to build it that way, it's got the extra fuel tanks and whatnot, the big bumper and the roo bar or the bull bar. And this one's actually molded in green. Most of these bags are sealed, and I don't know if I can see that one visor in here, but I know it's in there. Anyway, that one visor, it does not fit. The chrome one does not fit Western Star. It fits the Freightliner trucks. So, like I said, not much going on with this one. I just wanted to have it. Eventually, I'll build it into something. But I think it's a really cool kit. And if you don't want to do the right-hand drive option, you could always trade it or sell it to somebody who's doing something and with another kit and doesn't have that option. So the Italy Australian truck, Western Star. It's a nice kit. Looks pretty buff in the photo there. I like that box art. Italy's always had good box art, so. All right, now we'll take a look at AMT's release of the Western Star 4964. It's a great looking truck. In my trucking career, I probably got to drive a handful of Western Stars. I drove some of the more modern ones with the anteater hood, the Constellation. I used to have that kit. I think they even made a wrecker kit out of it. I think that was Italy, not AMT. Really cool box art here. Obviously, that's round two's version of the box art, and I've never seen that before until these were released. This one came out in 2022, along with some other ones. They released the black, on the box art, the black FLC Freightliner, and then the Peterbilt 377 AE, which I have, and that'll be coming up next year. But so yeah, it just kind of shows you what the parts are on it. Let's take a look at the bottom. Okay, so these are different. There's nothing on the bottom there like on the other kits where they show all the part trees and stuff like that. And I'll just spin it around here. It's got a really nice decal package. If you can see that there. It's nice that they show it in color so you know exactly what you're getting with this kit. Italy has always offered these dashboard decals, which I think are really cool. Makes it, you know, if you just want to, you know, not spend hours and hours detailing the dash, you can just get it painted and prepped and then throw that decal on there. It looks pretty good. I mean, some of these gauges you can't really see any numbers or anything on there, but it makes the dash look nice. Look nice. That's a great picture of it. I don't know, maybe it's just me because I love trucks so much, but Double E Trucking out of Denver, Colorado. It's got the NTC 400 Cummins turbocharged diesel engine. Just looks really good in that blue like that. It's a nice picture of it. But here's something that I didn't find too nice about this kit. Is I'm gonna lift it up here. Look at that. Look at that. $149.99. $150 for a truck model. I mean, when I was at the cash register pulling out my cash, I was just like, have I gone crazy here or what? $150 for this model kit. It's a nice model kit. It's not open. It's factory sealed, but it's like, you know, I had to have it. And I've got the other Italy one, which I think I only paid about $89 for that kit. But it's just like, wow, $150. Like, I don't know what they were down in the US, but at this price up here, they would have had to been at least $100 down there, you know. And if you can get them a lot cheaper than that, then by all means grab one, because like I said, it's a nice model kit in my opinion. I really like it. So Okay, next in front of the camera lens here, we got AMT's Peterbilt 377 AE tractor. This is a setback front axle. If anybody's seen the movie Breakdown with Kurt Russell, great movie. Kind of a dark movie, but it's still a good movie all in all. The truck in that movie was this model truck, 377 AE. It was all black. It had black two-hole buds with the chrome lug nuts and the chrome covers. Just kind of a sinister looking truck in that movie. But whoever did the sound bites or the sound, whoever's in charge of the sound of that movie, when they got some shots of that truck when it's driving or taking off or whatever, it just sounds great. So anyways, again, from round 2, I bought this with the Freightliner, or pardon me, the Western Star, released in 2022. And like I said, shows some of the parts on the side here. I'll spin it around. And again, with the decal sheet. Yeah, that looks nice. You get a lot of Peterbilt logos with this one. And again, with this box art here, I'm not really a fan of red vehicles, which is funny because 4 of the pickup trucks I've owned over the years, they were all red, and I didn't buy them because they were red. It's just they happen to be a good truck, so, and they happen to be red, and it is what it is. So, but not too fond of this setup, paint scheme or whatever. But still, the truck looks pretty good in there. You get the raised bunk, which I like. It's a nice model kit. It's gonna have the Peterbilt oval wheels, and at 3D Concepts, we make these wheels to fit any factory tire. So everything from the Revell 359s to the Peterbilts from AMT, like say the 352 or their 359s for those Goodyear tires. Whatever tire, we make a 10-hole Peterbilt wheel to fit that tire. So you were always limited if you wanted to use the Peterbilt oval wheels on one of your models. You had to go with the bigger 124 scale, and then this tire, which if you want to go back and take a look at that video, I spent a lot of time and effort making sure that I covered everything in there. But the Michelins that come in these kits and have came in these kits for a long time, they're a 20-inch tire, 20-inch rim size, wheel size, and but when you put them against a 125 scale 20-inch tire, it's like they're very large. So anyways, this one's open. I just had to open it so I could look at everything. There's that nice decal sheet again. Lots of Peterbilt logos on there. Really nice. This dashboard decal is very nice. A lot more detailed than the ones that came from Earle. And yeah, so we've got the decal sheet. Most of the parts in this one are sealed. There's those Peterbilt oval Alcoas. Very nice wheel. Now, I've always had an issue with Earle hubs. They stick out a lot further than what you'd see on a normal U.S. truck or Canadian truck, North American truck, let's just put it that way. It does have the grill that has the mesh, so you can put the mesh in there. It's a nice little touch. It's got that big wraparound bumper, because like I said, these are set back front axle rigs. And there's the head cover, the valve cover for the Detroit 60 series. That's a great engine in all these Peterbilts, the 378s that they released, and then of course this 377. So all these parts, like I said, they're factory sealed. One thing I really like is that hood, but what I wish it had was the cutout here, kind of like a T800 Kenworth, so you could put a Donaldson air cleaner on there. Now, I'm probably going to modify mine, seeing as we make pretty much the best Donaldson air cleaner out there at 3D Concepts. I'm probably going to modify my quarter fenders here and stuff so I can get a spot to get an air cleaner in there. Italeri, I'm going to call it Italeri, even though it's AMT. Like I said, nobody came out and did another mold exactly like them. So this has got to have originated from Italeri, and always with the multi-piece caps. Now, some people might like that. Some people might not like it at all. And it's difficult to build these caps sometimes as one piece. If that makes sense to some people, it might not, but it did to me. So there's, like I said, again, that Michelin, and right there they call it a 1220. It's a nice tire. It looks it's always looked like a steer or a trailer tire, but it's still a nice tire. It's got a nice feel to it and whatnot. And the rest of the parts, yeah, with these Peterbilts, what you do get is the difference. When you look at the frame right away, you can see that bevel at the end of the frame. That's Peterbilt for sure. And with the airbags and everything, Peterbilt, Peterbilt, Peterbilt. And there's the oil pan for the Detroit, and then a block and stuff. It's got a great engine in it. So anyways, that's the it's got the fairings on the side and everything too, if you want to build it out like that. It's a really nice model kit. Very expensive though, I just have to say it again. I'm happy to have one, but I'll probably, at these prices, I'll probably never ever buy another one until they either come down in price, or I don't know if it's because us poor Canadians just keep getting soaked on a bunch of stuff, but I'm not going to get into that on the channel here. So anyway, the Peterbilt 377 AE. Next up is one of my favorite trucks of all time, and I'm talking the real thing. Just, you know, I drove a lot of Louisvilles, like what AMT releases on that last kit that came out there, the body job, Morton Salt, I think the decals are. You know, that Louisville, they're not even a L9 series. They're just the old Louisville is all I can say about it. They're nice trucks. I mean, they're a ton of farm trucks, grain trucks, gravel trucks and stuff. And when the LTL 9000, which up here in my trucking career, LTL always stood for less than truckload. I don't know if that's what Ford was trying to get at when they put the LTL on there, but with the big grill, with the wider hood and stuff like that, I think the cab is very similar just to a regular Louisville. But again, I could be wrong. The taller sleeper, I'm a big fan of flat top sleepers. So, but I have a special place in my memories for LTLs because I only got to drive one, and it was white with a blue frame. It had a 425 mechanical cat in there. Or was that the electronic fuel injection one? I can't remember. I think it was a mechanical fuel injection, the A block. But I could be wrong on that too. It's been a long time ago. But I drove that truck for a couple of weeks, and I kind of fell in love with it. Had a nice big cab and lots of room inside. That cat was a monster. It had power galore and long legs, like long. We got to be talking like three. I'd say it was even a higher gear ratio than 373, like higher ratio wise, not numerically. So maybe even 350s or something. You get that thing up into the going home gear, and you get yourself into trouble with it because she would just tack out to no end and run down the highway like really fast. But I won't get into that either. Anyway, 2020 release. I bought this one before I paid an arm and a leg for the Peterbilt 377 and the Western Star 4964. This kit, I believe, yeah, it's open. So let's take a look here. Let's flip it around here and take a look at these decals. Oh, see, so white, but mine had a blue frame, day cab, had a headache rack, no sleeper, big cap motor in there. And yeah, so it comes with a nice decal sheet. We can pull a box off here and take a look. For some reason, that picture there, that 3/4 shot, like on the box art, with the wheels turned to the left just a little bit, man, that looks good. It just looks tough. Like, it just looks like it's ready to go to work, which I'm sure it is, because that's what it was built to do. So anyways, let's take a look at the decals up close. Really nice dashboard. You get 2 choices there. Nice stripe package. And yeah, these decals really come a long way. And hey, what do we got here? Oh, look, it's the same old Michelin 1220s. So, I mean, that tire's been around. Just that's the tire you get. It comes with all of them, right? So we take a look at these wheels on it, and yeah, they're just a round hole Alcoa, as they should be. But again, look at the hub. The drive hub sticks out a mile. I've never liked that. Sometimes I've taped off the inside of the wheel, and I've taken my Dremel and I've put a flat stone on there and I've ground that thing down about halfway, and then I've found some kind of a hubcap or whatever, or maybe take one out of a AMT Kenworth kit where you get the 2 different styles. You get the actual hubcap with the bolts, or you get the Baby Moon, and put a different hubcap on there and just get them to sit back and wheel a little bit more. They just look better. That's a pretty accurate Ford exhaust stack there. I'm not saying it's Ford spec, but I know that even my truck, I had dual exhaust on mine, but the stacks were pretty skinny like that. Really nice grill, LTL 9000. And then, yeah, of course, everything's sealed in bags, even with the Ford here. I mean, they even had a wrecker like this, Italeri did. But look at that hood. So that's different. So 2 halves to the hood. So, you know, you got a glue job going on there. You got this multi-piece cab again and stuff. And then, you know, the sleeper really wouldn't matter if you're going to build it out the way it comes in the box. Because you know there's no interior really to the sleeper there, not like the Revell 359s with the big bunk, and you got the TV and all the upholstery and stuff back in it and stuff like that. So anyway, this is a nice model kit. I don't know, I don't have a plan for this one yet, but I know that one day I want to build an LTL 9000. I'm not saying it's going to be white. Probably won't be like the truck I drove, but just a beautiful box art picture, man. Nice looking truck. All right, next up, the American Superliner. Now, this kit's been around for a long time. AMT, obviously, round 2, did this one. I gotta say, they must have got the molds from Italeri, or they had a deal going with them or something, because Italeri released this kit many times, and it was a long time ago. It was the first time I saw it. And when I saw American Superliner, what else did they call it? They called it something else at one point too, American Super Truck or something like that. Not one kit I've seen says Mac on it. And we know, us folks in the truck world, we know that's a Mac. It's a Mac. It's a Mac Superliner. There's only one Superliner, and that's Mac. And that's their signature, you know, like I got this one back in 2020 as well. It is open, so we'll take a quick look inside. There again, I like the way they do this with the decal sheet and stuff. They use the word cat a lot with a K, which I'm kind of fond of. Yeah, anyways, I just thought I'd throw that in there. This one, you actually get 3 choices for the dashboard. Let's open it up and take a look. This picture here, it's so-so. I mean, it looks all right. I like the other pictures from the other trucks better, but hey, what do you do? So here's that nice decal sheet, and look at that. Look at that with the dashboard stuff. You get like a silver gray or a black or a wood grain. And what is on these decals? It must be just some kind of dust or something in there. Probably from the basement construction. I should have moved these models further away. Anyways, here's the instruction sheet. That's a decent picture of the Superliner. Now, with that being said, well, at 3D Concepts, we have decided to, it's in the design phase now, and as new parts come out, I'm going to do videos on updating what we have coming or what's available actually in the catalog and stuff, or in the store. And we're developing the Superliner, actual Superliner badges to go on here along with the Mac and everything like that. Now, if somebody from Mac's watching this and they want to sue us, I hope that's not the case, because like I said, in the history of this kit, it's never been called anything but an American Superliner. So maybe Mac wants, like, millions of dollars for licensing for their trademark or their name. But regardless, we're going to give it a try because we want to help people out and actually get a nice Superliner in there. I know there's some photo etch stuff that's available for it, but I'm not a big fan of the photo etch stuff. It's hard to work with. It looks pretty good when it's done right, but we're just going to do them in a nice resin. If you go to our website, 3dconceptslimited.com, you'll see that we have a bunch of badging available and stuff. And, until we get told to cease and desist, I guess we're just going to keep pumping it out here. So inside we got, again, oh, hey, what are these? 1220s? I betcha. Of course they are. So we got a rack of 10 of those. The Superliner hood is really nice. Never got to drive one of these. It's too bad. They got a hood the size of a pool table on the front there. And the cab, I think the cab is really close to an R model Mac. I'm just looking at the cab now, and I tell you what, I haven't drove a Superliner, but I drove a lot of R models, and those things are tough, like tough. And like look at the do we see a theme here? Look at what do we see here? Another Freightliner visor, right? There's got to be another visor in here that is specific to that Mac cab, because that definitely won't fit. Again, with the hub sticking out a mile, this front fender for the rear wheels is that fender's been in everything. The battery boxes too. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that's all Freightliner spec stuff. And Larry just said, hey, a frame's a frame. And we're just going to put a different truck body on it, and away you go. But hey, am I dissing it? No, they're nice models, and I'm happy to have this one. So it's got a bull bar. Looks like that's a bull bar option for the front there. So they don't show it in the box art, which is too bad. But anyways, the Mac Superliner. Someday to be a Mac Superliner on one of my shelves. And I don't have, like I said, I don't have any concrete plans for this one. But eventually, one of these days, all these models are going to get built. That's why, like I said in the first video for this series, so to speak, I downsized my collection significantly, but still at a couple hundred plus kits. I got to have something to do when I actually retire, whenever that day comes. So anyway, I'm going to just call it the Mac Superliner. Nice truck. Okay, next up, Freightliner FLC Pork Chop Express. Anybody? That was, what was that movie? Big Trouble in Little China. Again, another Kurt Russell movie. How funny is that? Anyways, FLC, really love the truck. I got to drive a couple. The ones that I drove were older than this one. They didn't have the lights molded into the fender. They had a Peterbilt style, like off the 359 kits, the external light bar or bucket, and attached to the grill, I think there's a conversion kit out there that you can buy, and you get that set up with the headlights or whatnot. I did build this truck and showcase it on Carl Scale Model Showcase a couple years back. There is one of the last trucks I finished, actually. It's in a really nice kind of medium metallic green. It's got the bigger bunk on it, and it's just, I love Freightliner. Kenworth is my favorite, but Freightliner second. Freightliner it just sounds good. I've driven a lot of their trucks. They're good trucks in my opinion, especially the ones that I drove like say 25, 30 years ago. So this particular kit, this is the kit that I used to build my green one that I showcased, like I said, a few years back. Okay, I got another one of these somewhere, I think. I didn't open it, so factory sealed. So again, here we go. This is a little bit different. Got all the parts here on one side. Shows that decal sheet that you get there. I always like the Freightliner logos, but at one point they had them where they were the more peaked style Freightliner logos, the older style. And this kit, okay, so $84.99. Let's take a look. It's a lot of money for a kit. 2010, 15 years ago. Still paying almost $100 for these. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's a lot of money for model kits. When I was a kid building them, $5 for a car, $10 for a truck. So you saved your allowance for 2 weeks, you went out and got the truck kit. That's usually how it rolled for me. But, you know, my mom, she was always really good to me, and if I saved 2 weeks and bought a truck, she might throw a car in there. And just, you know, what can I say? Thanks, Mom. But anyway, Freightliner FLC, good looking box art, nice trucks. You know, everybody's got their opinion. And okay, so see on the grill there, it's got that peaked. That's the older style with the canted font there on the Freightliner. That's the older style. And I don't know if some of you guys remember, but at one point, this didn't even say Freightliner on the old Italeri kits. It just had all these lines in it. And it was like, maybe you got a decal on the sheet. I don't think so, but I don't know. It's got to have something to do with the licensing agreements and stuff. But once again, nice kit, no complaints. Okay, getting down to the nitty gritty from shelf number 1. Level 2, let's just call it that. Shelf 1, level 2. We did level 1 already, so pretty much to the end of level 2 here, and probably call it good there for today. But anyway, let's get into this. The Peterbilt 378. Now look at that box art. Now we're not even talking art, that's a picture. And you know, Peterbilt, hate to say it, not my favorite. It's just all the trucks I drove. You know, I'm just a Kenworth guy, and you know, that's just how it is. But I've driven a lot of Peterbilts too, and I got no problem with it. I always thought the clutch pedal was a little bit weird or goofy, the way it sunk into the floor like that. And it's still like that on the newer truck. The last newest Peterbilt I saw the inside of. You still had to push that clutch pedal through the floor, and I prefer if they hang off the bottom of the dash instead, right? So, anyways, excellent kit. This is a great kit. When this first came out, they did a different version. I don't have a picture of it. It wasn't an actual photograph. It was box art, and the Peterbilt was going this way, the truck was going this way, and it had a little bit different blue color. It was a little bit lighter, and it was the first 378s they released. I'm pretty sure of that. And what they did was they released another one after that, and it had it was a day cab, and it was white and it had flames. That might have been 10 years ago. And again, with the very first one, the blue one, I believe there was a dragon decal for the sleeper. Now I should have looked at a picture before I started blabbing off there, but anyways, wonderful kits. These are really nice. These were the first ones to come out with the 60 series Detroit, which is a fantastic engine in my opinion. And you can see here again, it's got all the parts laid out for you and whatnot. One good thing about Itali's website is if you go on there, you get to see pictures of all these part trees and whatnot, and then the pictures of the truck being built, or at least one picture of the finished product. So I think these were from back in about 2010. Let's see here. Yeah, 2010 right there. And yeah, so what do we got? This one's open. I got two of these, so this one's sealed. So we won't even worry about that guy. We'll just open up this one. Now this one I've been using. Yeah, it's got to be right side up. There we go. Looks better. Okay, this one I've been using lately because we got some airbag, air ride suspension systems coming out. We've got Peterbilt specific stuff coming for that. And when we first started doing the Donaldson air cleaner stuff and whatnot, this kit served as a really good reference for a lot of those parts we developed. So nice decal sheet. Again, just one dashboard option here. Doesn't have the Corvette dash like the 359s and stuff. You even get a uni-built decal in there. See if I can get it into focus there. Uni-built right there. I see a lot of Peterbilts driving around. They got that slapped on the side of the bunk there. Great Lakes Motor Transit Company. So obviously some fictitious outfit, I guess, at some point. But kind of like the 377 AE. Be the same fuel tanks. There we go. We got a Peterbilt spec visor there. I don't know if you can really see it. There we go. It's a little bit better. Actual Peterbilt spec battery boxes. You can see the Donaldson is in pieces here. One of them at the bottom. And this is how we wanted to make sure that we got our Donaldsons at 3D Concepts correct. And you know, the only thing I wish we could do is chrome plate stuff, and maybe someday we'll get there. But anyways, even with the gorgeous 10 oval Peterbilt wheels, the hub again, the drive hub sticking out a mile, just you're not going to see that maybe on a planetary truck, but you know, these aren't planetary trucks. But on that note, a lot of the wheels that came in the gray plastic for these kits when they were first released had a really big fat hub on them, and they actually looked like planetary style drives. So some of the frame disconnected there, one set airbags and whatnot I took off. It's got a nice Peterbilt wheel. Still keep getting that European style fifth wheel. I don't know if you guys can really see that here. Now, like that fifth wheel there, it's been with every Italy kit. And it's probably in those AMT kits too. Like I said, a mold is a mold. So whoever started, you know, injection molding that or whatever at round two, they're getting the original stuff from Italy. They have to be. So anyways, the interior, we got a lot way better seats than these. It's too bad. Like such a nice model kit, and you got this just, I don't know, just kind of basic seat, right? I mean, we got legacy seats. We got all kinds of Kenworth spec and Peterbilt spec seats and stuff. You know, they've always had a pretty nice floorboard. That is a really nice dash. If you're going to use that decal, there you can see some of the raised detail on it. If you use that dash decal on there, you know, you can either use the decal set and the solvent, kind of let it kind of mold into there. And if it comes out nice, well, you know, you got a winner. If not, you could spend a lot of time just detailing that out. So, okay. So yeah, there's some different rear fender quarter fenders. Those look like Peterbilt spec. And then, of course, with that 378 hood. I don't know why none of these designers or company executives or whoever's making the decisions over there, and of course, multi-piece cab, right? So, but I don't know why nobody spoke up at a meeting at some point and said, you know what they really want is they want a 379. You know, nobody, like, where's the 379? I know that I've got one from Jamie at Aluminum. I got that, which was Bill Drennan's original. I got a 379 hood conversion there. And, you know, but I mean, why wouldn't, you know, I get it. It takes a lot of money, investment, and time, and all that kind of stuff to make an injection molded model kit mold. But, you know, why didn't somebody come out and say, hey, we need a W900L and we need a 379? And you wouldn't have kept them on the shelves. Hobby stores would have been semi-load after semi-load, which is kind of ironic, don't you think, of semi-model trucks showing up at the hobby stores because they'd be just flying off the shelves. Anyway, the 378 Peterbilt, she's a gem. Okay, so I'm going to finish this video with a truck that's just holds a really, really special spot with me. I'm not going to get sappy or anything over it. I'm just saying that the Freightliner FLD 120, I have probably accumulated close to 1 million miles, not kilometers. We're talking 1.6 million kilometers if you want to go metric. I've accumulated that much time behind the wheel of one of these trucks. And before we open the kit, this one I got off eBay. Okay, it's one of the older Italy releases, number 738 there. And what I kind of lost for words here. What I really like about this kit is it's the truck I drove, but the box art really speaks to me from some of the actual brochures I used to see back in the day from Freightliner, and we're talking like mid to mid late 90s. It's got great box art. It came with the Freightliner directional wheels. It's a really nice kit, and it hasn't been released for a while. I know, before you get on me, I know that it came out, I want to say it had flames on it. I don't think it had the big fairing and everything on it. I'd have to look back. Again, I should have looked at a picture, but if you know, you know. And Freightliner did bring this out again not too long ago, but it wasn't in this box art. It wasn't like this kit. And what I want to show you next is why this truck means so much to me. So, for probably the biggest part of my trucking career, I actually worked for Sears. And I'll tell you, everybody out there knows Sears was at one point in time a great department store. They were probably the king of department stores. And Sears and Roebuck and Sears and the whole history of it all. You know, when I was aspiring to be a truck driver, I had two places that I wanted to work, and I wanted to be one of their best company drivers. And I had two choices. My top two choices, my choices were Sears and Canadian Freightways, which was the affiliate of Consolidated Freightways, which is back in the day when the trucks were green, all green with the red frames and red wheels. It just so much history there, and just I love it so much. Those were great looking. It was all Freightliner too. Leland James, you know, I'm not going to go into the whole history of it and stuff like that, but I mean, Freightliner and Consolidated Freightways, which, like I said, eventually became our Canadian Freightways, was a part of that. Just amazing history there, and they go hand in hand. So when I had, and it wasn't like I just got my license and I decided, hey, okay, I'm going to apply at these places. I put in the time. I put in the time with some pretty rough trucking outfits and ones that had really, just substandard equipment, barely road legal, let's put it that way, and just a lot of tough hours behind the wheel and grueling and whatnot. And when I had enough experience under my belt, I applied. And I applied at Sears and I applied at Canadian Freightways. And I said, whoever calls first, I'm going. And Sears called first. And I went and did my test drive. And I got hired. I was so proud. And I got issued a uniform. And I ironed my shirts. I wore boots during my entire shift. None of this flip-flop stuff. I was proud to work there. And I got an 8-year safe driving award from the Ontario Trucking Association, which was Sears headquarters were in Toronto, Ontario. So everything was issued by the OTA. And I got all that stuff. I got calendars, I got clothes, I got all my awards, everything. And out here in the prairies, we call it prairie provinces in the western part of the country. We got Alberta, Saskatchewan, basically considered the prairies. So when I got that call and I got that job, I was ecstatic. I couldn't believe it. And I drilled down so hard into my skill to become one of their best truck drivers. And I'm proud of that. I'm so proud of that. And when they had enough faith in me, because I used to just pull a 5-axle. I used to just pull a van trailer or a set of pups or whatever. And when they had enough faith in me, they put me through the overlength training. And this is from, look at the glare, jeez. This is from the, would have been the summer of 97. And that's my FLD. Let's see if we can't get a better shot here. I should have took it out of the glass. That's my FLD 120 with the 60 Series Detroit in it. And I was so in love with that tractor. It had just gobs of power. We got treated so good with respect and good pay and everything. And if you look at that combination of trailers there, let's go down here. Maybe the glare will be less. Look at that. So SLH, probably be like, Carl, what are you talking about? No, SLH, Sears Line Haul, is what that is. And those trailers there are full of Sears stuff. I'm on Highway 11, just outside of Regina, Saskatchewan, and I'm heading to Saskatoon. It's a 4-lane highway, and the only place in North America that you can pull this combination year-round with an annual permit, not a single-trip permit where you got to get permitted every time you take it out, is on that highway. And they call this the Queen City Triple. And the reason they call it that is because it originated in Saskatchewan, and it was actually Co-op that started running these. And we got a 53-foot long box and a set of 29-foot pups. That thing is long. And I would pull that through downtown because we didn't have a ring road back then. And to get out of Regina and head down to Saskatoon, or head up to Saskatoon, you had to get through town with that thing. I'd be in the left-hand turning lane with my right-hand signal on, and people would just be like, oh, he's nuts. And I would crank that thing to the right and pull those around the corner, just miss that curb by about 2-3 inches. And you pull that, you look at that thing in the mirror, and you're pulling down that and pulling heavy, 63.5 kilograms. So, we're talking into close to 140,000 pounds. These were loaded, and a lot of times they were loaded heavy because Sears had furniture, tools, you name it, right? you look at that thing in the mirror and you sit straight up in the seat and you feel that 60 series just pulling, it's incredible. Like it's right now, I got goosebumps thinking about it because there's not going to be another time where I do that. But there's another picture of it. Oh, sorry, just kind of leaning over here. You know, and there it is, just outside of the warehouse in Regina, getting ready to head to Saskatoon. I would pull out Saskatoon. I'd have to get rid of either a pup, or break the whole thing up, maybe take the back pup off and turn it into a Rocky, or just put everything away at the warehouse there and make up a new set to get back to Edmonton, which is where I was based out of. But just what a machine. Like just amazing. Like I loved it there so much. It was probably one of the highest points of working in my entire life. Sears. But let's take a look at that Freightliner kit. So again, there she is, Italy 738. What a great model kit. And I built it, if you believe this, only once before. Only once. And I bought this one off eBay. It was priced relatively realistic, or I don't know how to put that. The price wasn't too bad. Let's just put it that way. And I bought it, and I was just like, yep. I says, the other one, I bought when I just was working at Sears. So that would have been like 95, 96. Now, let's take a look. Let's see the date on this one. Let me find it here. You can see this box markings and stuff. This is the older stuff, right? So 95. There you go. So this kit would have been the one I bought back then and built. And you know what? And at the time, I didn't build a Sears truck out of it. And back then, I wouldn't even known where to try and source decals or anything like that. I know where to source decals now. But anyways, let's just kind of go through it. I got a bunch of parts scattered and stuff. I'm in and out of this thing all the time, just looking at it and stuff. These are, you know, probably not going to get used because they're just aftermarket resin wheels that they were cast. They're not 3D printed. You know, I need 2-hole buds. These drive tires are pretty nice. I think these are from Jamie as well. They're a little bit taller, so they're good for the 124 scale. The wheels, that's not right. That gap in the middle there is way too big. Anyways, I got a bunch of wheels, stuff sorted out here. I think I started to cut down one of the fairings. Because my truck's going to be a day cab. Yeah, I did saw off the back part of that fairing there. So if I mock it up, so I've been working on the hood and the cab for a while, and I mock it up, and yeah, and I would have had a fairing like that, and a gas cap would have covered the gas tank, and yeah, I mean, some of them had the exposed gas tank or whatever, fuel tank. But yeah, I love this truck. And you know what? Freightliner FLD, it's got a really big cab. It's got a wraparound dashboard. Let's take a look here, because I mean, it's kind of a mess in here, but it's not too bad. I'm going to pull out that interior floor just so I can show you guys something. And then I'm going to pull out that dash. So there's that dash. It would have wrapped around a little bit. Up here, you would have had the Jake brake controls, and instead of having high and low, you had one that said 2 and one that said 4, and you know, so you got all three options, right? 2, 4, 6, whatever kind of bark you wanted to make out of it, and yeah, there was 2 switches for it. So, and what else here? Oh yeah, the floor. So like I was saying, with the floor. And it was not that whole entire line, but part of the line and stuff like that, because that floor gets sandwiched in there. I got rid of all that, and I got it so, like I said, I could put the floor in afterwards in the firewall and stuff. And this, you'll see, this is a day cab now, and it didn't come like this, right? It just like every other kit they got, that back panel there, it's got that big walk-in bunk opening there and stuff like that. I scratch built mine. I know there's ones that you can get that fit right in there and stuff, but I mean, I whatever. I just scratch built mine. The cab's got a little bit of, you know, body work and stuff. I mean, it's not perfect by no means, but I'll tell you what, when I get my decals made and I get this thing made, yeah, and that's why I bought the Mobius trailers. Like, I'll just pop up the camera here. And yeah, like I said, over there, I got the Mobius trailers. You know, I got 2 of the smooth side 53s and 2 of the beaded side 53s. And, you know, I don't know if I'll make a Queen City triple, but I'll definitely make a set of turnpikes. So one or the other. And I still very well make a Queen City triple, just so the trailer heights are the same, because they vary on some kits. If I do make a Queen City, what I'll do is I'll chop up one of those 53s, and I'll have, yeah, they can be a bit short at 26.5 each, but I'll figure it out, you know. And I mean, that's down the road or whatever, but yeah, this is a great kit. I would recommend it to anybody. I hope Italeri brings it back in this particular style, maybe with this box art. But like I said, I've got a lot of plans for this one, and you know, eventually this can be one of my showcase models. So one of my best model builds ever, and that's why you know, we're dealing with the K100 Rocky, which eventually is going to get there. Look at that. I did some weathering and stuff. I said that in the other video, but we'll eventually get there. So, but anyways, let's call her good there. And on the next one, we'll start off with the other 2 shelves there. The one with the Freightliners and the Peterbilts, and then always got to have the Kenworths up top. So, but other than that, as always, thanks for tuning in, and get a couple of model kits and keep on building those models.